What's going on, beautiful people? We are back again with another Mental Max Out podcast. I'm your host, Akeem Robinson. And for those of you joining us for the first time, thanks for checking it out. Mental Max Out is all about helping people change their perspectives, think differently, and get out of the hole. If you're back again, I celebrate your willingness to continue growing and challenging your mind. Remember, if you like what you hear today, make sure you hit that subscribe button or whatever platform you're listening from. Share it with a friend and follow us on social media at Mental Max Out Podcast.
I have to address something first. Well, we have to address something first. We're so sorry we didn't say, hey, we're going on a break. We're going to take some time away from it. And we should have done that. But as first-time parents, first-time podcasters, we don't have all the answers. And we should have did that. And so we apologize.
We thank you for having grace with us while we took some time off, and we're happy to be back. We've really enjoyed this process, and we just thank you guys for holding us accountable and tuning in and texting us and checking in on us saying, hey, why haven't you guys been on? And so we really appreciate that.
I was by myself this weekend, and it was kind of trippy, but it was really cool at the same time. It was really exciting for me to be in that situation for the first time because I wanted to see what was going to happen.
So I got to take Serena this weekend for a girls' weekend with one of my best friends, my roommate from college who lives in Florida. And so Serena and I left and got on the road together for a little road trip. And, it was just a really fun time. She, of course, stayed awake the whole drive pretty much. And so we were just chit-chatting on the way, singing songs and dancing and whatnot. It was really great to kind of just have a weekend with my friend, and her daughter is 2. And so Serena got to play with her friend and play with some new toys, read some new books. We went to the aquarium. And it was one of those things that I kind of just decided a couple weeks ago, kind of the same time we took a little podcasting hiatus, I just need a break. I just want to get away for a little bit. Just do something different. I think that we get in the same old rut. Kind of before the busyness of the holiday season, I was like, I just want to do something spontaneous because I don't know about you, but when it comes time for the holidays, there's a plan for everything. Thanksgiving is a set day. Christmas is a set day. Keem graduates next month, so that's a set day, And so before all of these predetermined plans kind of get on the calendar, I just wanted to be spontaneous and get away, and that allowed Akeem to kind of have a guy's weekend to himself, which he hasn't had in 2.5 years.
It's been a little minute. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a little minute. You're the type of person where it's January 1st and you'll tell me, hey babe, so in April we're gonna go here at 11 o'clock, and then in November we have this dinner party that we have to go to, and it's down the street, but I'm telling you today because I'm gonna look for some fall decor because it goes half off. And I'm like,
but if your husband is anything like mine, you have to start telling him January 1st because he'll ask you every day until the event occurs.
Dang right, I'm gonna ask you every day. So to me it's like, don't even, it's just confusing. So when she does that, I'm just like, okay, here we go. But this time it was different because, like she said, a couple weeks ago, she was like, I'm going to take a trip. And that was different. She doesn't do that. And that wasn't on the plan, and that wasn't scheduled. Like, I was so caught off guard. My brain, if you can think inside out, was like, where are the question people? And I was like, what time? When? How did this come about? Are we okay? And I'm asking her all these questions. And she's just like, no, I just think I need a break. That everything is good, but I also want to see my friend. And then I started thinking, that is so cool that we're in such a situation in our lives where you can just say, I'm going to take my daughter to go see my best friend and hang out with her daughter. Because friendship and fellowship is needed sometimes. We need those kind of things to impact our lives and fill our cup, So I thought that was really cool.
I lived with the same person all 4 years of college, which is rare. Since college, we have put in so much work to stay in touch. Both of us have moved. We both have lived in 3 or 4 different states. It's one of those things that they just moved to Florida. They're only 4 hours away from us. In my head, when they moved over here, I said, oh, you're moving here. You're moving here. I wanted to take advantage of this time because it used to be we had to get on an airplane to see each other. It's one of those things that's so special when you can just take time away and be intentional, because friendships are based off of convenience. Mm-hmm. And it was so profound because I started reflecting on all of my friendships that, have stood the test of time and have lasted a long time. the ones that have really lasted, you really have to be intentional about it. You really have to be intentional about building relationships with people when it's not convenient, because when you live with somebody for 4 years, you're going to college and you're in the same stage of life and the same events are happening to both of you, that's convenient. But then when you move away, now you have to put in the effort to call people, you have to put in the effort to have conversation. It's no longer about convenience. Does that friendship really last? And so think about your friends and the people in your life that you have lost touch with, or maybe you felt like, oh, well, we just grew apart, or they just never called me. Was that the case, or was it just not convenient to be friends anymore?
There's so many moments where we can have these small moments of fellowship, these small moments of just connection, because convenience is everywhere around us. I fall into the trap, right? We all kind of do. We get on social media and we check on the person we used to be friends with. We check on the person's life. And we're like, I know what's going on with you. I see your photos that you updated. I like them, so I know what's going on.
I'm in touch. I'm connected.
Yeah, and that's the new version of staying connected. Like, I saw what you uploaded, and so I feel good because you took a picture in the pumpkin patch. But that's not really connection. That's following along with the timeline of what's happening. But we actually really need moments to connect. And I'll never forget it. When we moved here, this was the furthest I ever lived away from work. And it was a 20-minute drive regardless. And I was telling myself, oh, you know what? What am I going to do in this time? And obviously today's, everyone's like, I listen to podcasts. But
and we hope you're listening to our podcast.
Please, and tell people more. But every once in a while, it is important to pick up the phone and call someone. And you'll be surprised the amount of times you call someone, the very next word comes out of their mouth is, I was thinking about you. Your name came up in conversation. It never fails the amount of times somebody's name comes across my mind. I give them a quick call, and within the matter of minutes, they say, I was talking about you a couple weeks ago. Your name came up. So I'm going to challenge you with that. Next time someone comes across your mind, find a pocket of time to give them a quick call. You'll be surprised because there is a reason that person's name came into your mind. And now I get it for those who are thinking, well, we don't talk that much, or I have nothing to say. Well, just tell them I'm thinking about you. I'm hoping things are going well. I'm praying for you, and just keep it moving. You could keep it as under a minute, and that would change someone's life.
My commute to work is an hour. I historically am a person where, just like Akeem said, I've gotten in the habit as well. Giving people a quick call on my way home, my mentors, people, depending on the time of day. But I'm going to tell you something. I have 50 minutes and I'll call you. I'll leave you a message if you don't answer, saying exactly what Akeem just said. Hey, thinking about you. Hope all is well. Hope we can catch up soon. I'm going to tell you right now, if you call me back and I have already pulled in the garage and I'm in the house, I don't answer the phone. Because at that point in time, I just drove an hour. I can't wait to see my family. I want to hang out with Akeem and Serena. And so I don't answer the phone. And I used to feel so guilty about that until I was talking to one of my mentors. And she literally said the exact same thing. She said, when I get home, I try to reserve so much of me. I talk to people all day. When I get home, I need to give that to my husband. And so once I get home, that's where it shuts off of, hey, unfortunately, you missed the window. We'll try again tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And you can always do that, right? But understand that you have to make time for these relationships. You have to be intentional about reaching out to people, but you also have to have grace with yourself that, call, leave a message, send a text, send a card, send a pigeon note, whatever it is. But when you get home and you need time to decompress and you need time for yourself, then take that time. My friends and I recently, I have a couple of friends, we've been scheduling our phone calls. Hey, can you do 3:00 my time, 5:00 your time? Hey, can you do, and truly, with life, you have to do that sometimes. And it doesn't mean that, it's any less important. Akeem and I have to schedule recording these podcasts like they're a meeting because that's just how life gets sometimes. So have grace with yourself that, you're not adding more to the plate, but the things that are important to you, you have to fit in.
With that being said, I'm sorry, I was late. I was late to the meeting. So I was like rushing, had the morning water and, I'm in the meeting and everybody's looking at me, aka my wife, Allison, and she's just like, hey. And I'm like, so we still schedule things and there's still grace to be like, dang, my bad. With all of that, she's so right. You have to schedule some things. And I know what that sounds like. that's my friend, or, they should make the effort. Sometimes us just taking small little moments and pockets of action can change things so much. The amount of times I've been on the road and I've just texted someone, hey, I was thinking about you, or give them a quick call. They stop me in my tracks and say, hey, you have no idea how much this phone call really helped. It's such an impactful and powerful moment, and things that we control, and it doesn't take much effort. And so for you right now, think of those people. Step outside of yourself for just a second and think who's been coming across your mind. If they've been coming across your mind, there's a reason. I'm telling you, there is a reason that they have been coming across your mind. Tell them how much you appreciate them. Tell them how much you appreciate their friendship and value them as a person.
And if you lose touch with somebody, we always like to play defense and say, well, the phone works both ways, and I just kept calling and they just, they stopped reaching out to me. You're the one listening to this podcast, so we're talking about you. We're not talking about them. It's on your heart. And so at the end of the day, if it's on your heart to reach out, it has nothing to do with them and them not reaching out. Maintaining friendships is a two-sided thing. However, if somebody's on your heart, or you're thinking about somebody, or you're the one that wants to talk to somebody, you're the only one that can control that. If you sit around wishing somebody's going to call you, they might not be wired that way. They might not think that way. They might not have the confidence to give you a call after 3 months of not talking, right? But you're the one thinking about that person, and so you extend the olive branch. And I know Akeem has done a phenomenal job of rekindling relationships, touching back up with people that he hasn't talked to in years because of that. We were driving on a road trip a few months back. We're just driving along, and his phone rings, and there's no caller ID on it. It's just a number. And he answers the phone, and the man starts talking. And instantly, instantly, Akeem knew exactly who it was on the other line. I have no idea who this person is. Instantly, he knows exactly who it is. And this is somebody that he hasn't talked to in a decade, probably.
Yep.
This person was just thinking about him and called him.
Mm-hmm.
They reconnected after years. I think that's one of the beautiful things about social media is I do think it triggers oh, wow, if somebody hasn't posted in a while, right? Oh, wow, I saw this person's post and this is how their family's doing, or this, that, and the other thing. Allow that to provoke you to reach out to somebody, right?
Ooh,
don't see somebody's, new baby post and just be like, oh, that's cool, and keep scrolling.
Yep.
No, use that as an opportunity to send a congratulation text or leave a voicemail, send a card or whatever it might be, because at the end of the day, we can all sit here and say, well, social media is not personal all day long, but it's up to us to make it personal.
Oh, come on, bars. Bars. No, you're right. And you said this word provokes. You wanted to ignite something within you. If there's a percentage, like an ESPN percentage of people that still send letters, Allison is one of those people. And that number is barely probably at 1%, but she still will send people letters if she hasn't talked to them in a long time. And she thinks about them, or she sees something on social media, she will send them a handwritten note telling them how much she appreciates them. And she does that every year. And the people are different all the time. I'm telling you, there's so many small ways you could connect with people. Allow the social media to ignite that moment of taking action to do that.
I've been in a big purging kind of phase lately, just cleaning out clutter, things like that. And so I was cleaning out the guest closet. And we got piles of paper and all that kind of stuff everywhere. I have this pouch that is zippered, and I recognize it. I've had it since college. Back in college, I used to put, when people would send birthday cards or, congratulations or whatever in there, because I like to save those types of things, right? And maybe that's why I send cards, because I like to save my cards. I think over the last couple years, I've really kind of condensed and thrown stuff away and just, things like that. But I opened up this pouch because I was like, I thought I've been tossing things. I wonder what's still in there. In the pouch were at least 20 handwritten notes, cards thinking about you, newspaper clippings, magazine clippings that my grandma had sent me in college. Handwritten. And my grandma has this I know what her cursive looks like. It's hard to read. You have to squint. You have to think, is that a J or an L? Very hard to read. And my grandmother passed my senior year of college. And I have this pouch of notes. And I was sobbing on the floor, reading all these different things. And she's telling me about the gardener coming. She's telling me, your mom came over today and brought groceries and she just stays very busy. Your dad stays busy too. And your dad came over and fixed this for me. It was so cool because nothing in there was earth shattering news, but my grandma was just writing me a note telling me what's going on in her life. And now I have that. I just think it's important to tell the people in your life that you're thinking about them and that you care about them, because not everybody does that. You don't know when the last time they were told that by their partner, by their significant other, by their children, by their coworkers, by their boss. Think about how many times people tell you that they care about you or appreciate you. And then if that number is slim, just think about what that looks like for other people and be the person that's going to share that.
I tell Allison all the time, you are incredible. You are amazing. You do this. You do that. I tell her that all the time. But when someone else tells her, you're incredible, you're amazing, she's like, babe, guess what somebody told me? They told me I'm incredible, I'm amazing, and I'm sitting there like, I tell you that.
But you're reading the husband script.
Exactly. You're reading the script that no matter how many times you tell it, it's cool, and I thank you, and don't stop telling it, fellas. Do not stop doing it. But it just hits different when somebody else says it. Literally,
it happened to you at the gym.
It happened to me. Like, seriously, it happened to me at the gym. It happened to me at church. Like, I went up to her and I was like, babe, they said I sound so good on stage. She's like, I tell you that. I'm telling you, you have one of the biggest voices in the choir. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, but like...
You're my wife, you're supposed to
But you're supposed to tell me I'm cool and like I can sing like an angel. But when other people tell me, you know what I'm saying? It is so impactful when someone else says it. But I think we get caught up in this space where you look at a photo on social media, you see how many likes they have, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, well... they must know people love them, or they must know people are thinking they're really cool. And so just step outside of that thought process.
And remember too, like we've talked about this before on the podcast, but social media is a highlight reel, right? And so, you know, if you're a mom, that new baby post also comes with a storm of emotions and hormones 5 days later that person is probably experiencing. So reach out and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. You're doing a great job. Person that is posting their weight loss journey, that came with a lot of sacrifice and it came with a lot of frustration. So send a text and say, hey, I see you and what you're doing is amazing and taking care of your health. You know from the experiences that you have that the highlight required a storm. The highlight required hard work. The highlight probably is partnered with some things that aren't so great. And so just remember that obviously social media is not what we always think it is, but it's a great opportunity to just say, hey, you know, I saw your post. If you don't know what to say to that person, if you are thinking about somebody and you don't know why and you don't know what to say because you haven't talked to them in 6 months, say, hey, I saw that post. It's great that the kids won their soccer game. Like, what a great opportunity, blah, blah, blah. How's everything going? And I think it's just another way to spread love and joy. I mean, we always say on this podcast, we want you to think differently. We want you to spread love and spread that joy with other people. And just giving a call or a text this week is a great way to do it.
No question. And you said it too. I was just about to say it. Like, this podcast is trying to get you to step outside of those comfortable places that we like to settle in. You know, like if you were to talk to me, I am super introvert, super in the house, don't talk to me. But this podcast allows me to think differently, even for myself. And it allows us to even grow as a family. I'm telling you, when you look at social media, it is just a highlight. But what is it enticing you to do? What is it telling you to do within? Who is it telling you to reach out to? Utilize social media for the highlights till you can actually take action and actually strengthen those friendships that once were there.
What I want to challenge you guys to do this week is to find 2 people you have not given a positive affirmation to in the last month. Who are 2 people that you haven't really just said, hey, I'm proud of you. I think what you're doing is amazing. I see you in this hard season and I know that, you know, you're doing everything you can and you're doing a great job. Who are those 2 people in your life, whether it's your family, your friends, people who live down the street from you or across the country from you? Who are 2 people that you haven't had a chance to say that to? Reach out to them, whether it's a card, a text, a phone call, a voicemail. Reach out to them and just say, hey, you know, I want you to know that you're doing a great job. And I want you to know that you're important to me. And I'm really proud to be in your life.
I think that's amazing. And when you can do that, guess what? You step outside of comfort zones and then you can now start to find newer zones to step into. But it requires you to be a little uncomfortable for a second. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't make it be the last time. Tell someone new about this podcast and continue to grow that family.
Have a wonderful week.
Thank you for joining us on this exciting episode of Mental Max Out. We hope today's discussion has empowered you with the insights and tools to overcome the challenges of depression, fear, and doubt. Always remember that you have a support system on this journey, and every step you take is a step forward towards victory. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. We greatly appreciate your feedback as it allows us to continually provide you with the content that is most valuable to you. Stay connected with us on Instagram at Mental Max Out Podcast for a constant source of motivation, helpful advice, and a supportive community. Until the next time, keep pushing forward, and remember, you have the strength within you to max out your potential. Take care and stay strong.